And it's one of those things like when you've got it, you don't really think about how fortunate or how lucky you
Right.
are to be able to get out and move and do things that are gonna improve your health or improve your health, improve mental health, improve all these things. And then you take it away, and now that it's coming back, hopefully that will kind of set a light bulb off in some people's heads, and they'll be like, "Wow, I felt so much better before all this happened, and now that it's back, I'm going to take full advantage of it, and I'm going to hit it hard and do things the right way."
Hey, what's going on? Welcome to Healthy Living Wichita podcast with Go Time Training. I'm your host, Raymond Elliott, lead personal trainer at Go Time Training in Northeast Wichita, Kansas. I've been in the fitness industry for over 20 years now, and I've seen it all. This podcast cuts through all the fads and gimmicks to give you a science-based truth on all things fitness and nutrition, so you don't have to try to figure it out on your own. If you want to live happier and healthier and get the scoop on how to work out, eat right, and keep a positive mindset, you're in the right place. It's go time. Now, let's get to the show. All right, back to Healthy Living Wichita, the podcast. This is number 3 on here. And we have our very special guest, Mr. Nick Jacobs. So welcome to the show, man.
Thank you. Good to be here.
You excited to be a part of this?
Absolutely.
I feel like we're in New York City now.
Yeah, we're big time.
Yeah, we're
Definitely
big time. Excellent, man. I'm so glad to have you on the show. So just kind of introduce yourself to the millions around the world that will be listening to us.
Yeah, so I'm from Kentucky. I just moved to Wichita in October. So my background is in exercise science. I graduated from the University of Louisville in 2013. And so for the past 7 or 8 years, I've mostly been in the private sector of personal training. A lot of my clientele have been strength athletes, and I'm now getting into the general population. And so being at Go Time is a great opportunity to kind of explore that avenue.
Excellent, man. We love that you're a part of the team. So you're actually really becoming a big part of this whole Healthy Living Wichita that we're trying to promote here in this podcast. And we're proud to have you, and that we're glad that you're actually helping out our little community in Wichita. How are you liking it so far?
I like it. Kansas is not a whole lot different from Kentucky besides the terrain.
Terrain?
yeah, a little bit flatter here.
It is pretty flat here, but that's all right. It makes it easy on bicycling. So that's
right. And sunsets are amazing too.
Gorgeous.
So you can't beat those.
We love our Kansas sunset. So same thing for me. I moved in from Oklahoma, so kind of the same aspect. Same thing.
That's right. Yeah.
Little less hills, but I don't know if the viewers out there, hopefully you caught our podcast number 2 when we had the wonderful Casey Ross talking about nutrition in the Quarantine 15. So Nick, has been really working with a lot of people. He's a great strength coach. He helps out people. So we have a lot of people that's kind of fear. They've either been doing more body-weighted stuff at home or literally nothing at home for the last 2 months.
Yeah.
And so it's just like, now the gyms are going to be opening, pretty much nationwide, but here in Wichita, we're starting back up Monday. What do they do since they've been either doing very little or nothing at all over the last 2 months?
So this has definitely been a big concern. When reaching out to people to see if they're ready to get back into the gym, they're ready. And usually one of the first questions they ask is, did I lose all my gains? Or they express concern over where their progress is at this point compared to where they were before. Valid question. After just a couple of weeks, it can definitely feel like you are flatter or your muscles are smaller. And, in large part, that is kind of true, but whenever you get back into the gym, things tend to happen a lot quicker than they do whenever you first start. So the best course of action really is going to be first, get into the gym. Don't keep putting it off. That could be a thing where people are like, well, it's the end of May. I guess I'll just wait until like the beginning of June and start over on a fresh month. But the sooner you get back into the gym, then the sooner you're going to make the progress and get back to where you were before. So the biggest thing, though, is going to be taking it easy. Just like Casey had mentioned in the last podcast, don't go to extremes. It's going to hurt you more if you come into the gym and you think, wow, I've missed 6 or 8 weeks. I need to work out every day or work out longer or work out harder. It's not necessarily true. That's a good way to injure yourself or kind of have a setback or get so sore that you can't do anything for the next couple of days. So easing back into it and, kind of making small changes at first to equate to bigger changes after a few weeks.
Excellent. So you did listen to the last podcast?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That's cool. So not extremes. Don't go crazy. Ease back into it. Definitely try to get back into something. I know that some people will be a little worried about getting back into the gym, but if you're okay with that, doing that as soon as possible, getting back in. You mentioned that people were like worried about losing muscle and strength. Is that a true concern? I mean, I imagine it's different if people still been able to be relatively active
Right.
throughout, and people that's been just completely sedentary for the last 8 weeks. So
Yeah.
there's probably a little change, but speak on that.
Yeah, so there's going to be a big difference between somebody that has been doing literally nothing and then someone that has still been doing something, or whether it be like once a week, twice a week body weight, or even just going outside to get sunshine and go for a walk. The ones that chose to do nothing are going to be the ones that are going to struggle the most, and they're probably also the ones that are going to be more eager to get back to it because they're going to feel like they've lost so much. So if that's the case and you haven't done a whole lot, then it's going to be even more important for you to try and gradually work your way back into things. I wouldn't say that it's a huge concern because, like I mentioned earlier, when you get back into the habit, it tends to come back quicker than or it happens faster than the progress you made in the very beginning.
Yeah, so you're going to have a rebound effect from that,
right.
and you probably maintain a little bit more, even though you probably have felt like you've lost a lot of
yeah.
things, including into myself. There's just something, that feeling when you work out and you have that little bit of inflammation and pump going on, the soreness, that you can feel all those muscles, and all of a sudden that kind of disappears. So you kind of talked about like not going into extremes, basically slowly kind of getting back into it. So kind of what is that thought process? Like what is some way somebody could slowly get back into it?
Okay, so let's say we'll do two different scenarios here. Let's say that we've got someone that they were regular in the gym 2 to 3 times a week, and they were primarily doing weight training.
Right.
Say they took the last 8 weeks completely off. They did not do anything.
Right.
The number one thing that you can do is get back into the gym, probably continue on the same type of programming you were doing before, just scale everything way back. Not to be super specific, but say 50% of the weight that you were doing before for the same number of reps, right? We don't want to cut reps. We want to keep the reps at a nice level, 8 to 12 or so, but the weight is what's going to be the problem. So the first thing to do would be scale the weight way back, do less than you think that you probably should. Even if it doesn't feel like you're doing a whole lot, take it easy, because you could definitely pay for it the next day if you do too much or do more than what you're actually ready for.
Okay, so throw the ego out the door. I know that's going to be very difficult for people, but as you're saying, it's going to be a very quick, small time period that they have to do that.
Yeah.
And then kind of go back and degress a little bit on those, on your weights, basically cut those back, keep up somewhat of the same routine. How does people, I know there's probably going to be some people out there that are going to be worried that they're going to be super sore in those aspects, and I'm sure that's probably a strategy for keeping that, but how is people kind of going to expect to feel, and is there any strategies, is it decreasing weight, or is there anything else that they can do to try to keep them from maybe getting that kind of starting exercise soreness that they got probably when they first started working out?
That's a good question too. The best thing that they could really do, you can expect to be sore. Honestly, I think some people will probably be looking for that, because that kind of signifies that you got somewhat of a workout in.
Right.
But a lot of times what I've found with myself in the past, if I, do some kind of deload, or if I take time off and I go back, I do get really sore. And sometimes it's more sore than I can remember being in the past, several months or several years. So the soreness can be expected, but if you want to try and combat that, then just being more active in general. And as Casey mentioned in the previous podcast, stay tuned into what you're eating too, because that's going to play a big role in how you recover and how not sore you get, but how well you can handle the exercise.
Excellent. Yeah. So that's, I think those are all really, really good things that everybody's kind of looking to get back in the gym. And I can see like we're going to have two sides. We're going to have people that are going to be a little scared to exercise again, really worried about that. And you're going to have people that's like, I'm chopping at the bits. I'm going to go in there and go crazy and put in a 3-hour workout. So we've got to try to figure out some balance in between those two. I know, even though I have an opportunity to come in here sometimes, I'm still not on my same routine.
Yeah.
And definitely when I do work out, I feel a little weaker. Everything feels a little heavier, but I know that I'll get back into it and to take my time into each one as I kind of go forward.
Right.
So that's pretty much a lot of the basics in there. Is there some other things that you want to share as far as just
so
getting back out of the quarantine?
So with scenario 2, I think most of our clients fall into this, which would be they've kept up with some kind of exercise, whether it be virtual training or doing things on their own. The catch there is whenever you come back into the gym, you're going to have access to all these weights that you have not had access to over the past 6 to 8 weeks.
I've been doing body weight stuff, limited access to equipment.
Right. So it might things will definitely be different because now you're using load instead of just your own body weight.
Yeah.
So a lot of the workouts that have been done at home are more cardio based. They're more body weight based, higher volume or more reps. And now we might be transitioning back into using heavier weights, doing less reps, or not doing as much cardio based movements.
Right.
So that's another change that can happen is whenever you get back into that, you're probably going to get sore. Things are probably going to feel a little bit weird, but just keep in mind it's only temporary. A few weeks of practice, so to speak, with the movements again and actually using loads, everything will probably be better, honestly, because you have to move different with body weight. It's probably helped improve your mobility a little bit, and with the increased cardio due to home workouts, your cardiovascular training is going to be a little bit better. So that might help you in the long run handle weights better than you did before. So there's a little bit of a positive side to that.
Yeah, I've actually thought about that a little bit when just going through some of these virtual trainings. That this has been an opportunity because we've had to use a lot more mobility type exercises
right.
to give people a hard workout because some of those mobility exercises are as intense as deadlifting. So their mobility is probably better. They've obviously probably improved their cardio conditioning. They gave their body a little bit of rest and recovery. Some of those muscles, some of those aches and pains might be gone now. They probably had to focus more on just being able to control their own body, which should hopefully translate. I even know like bodybuilders and people like that hit plateaus will sometimes take almost complete rest.
Right.
So they do kind of have that new engaged shock and maybe can create some adaptation. So people could actually see a lot more gains and have better exercise and workouts and movements and improve their conditioning because of this.
Right. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, there's always a positive to it. And
silver lining.
Yeah, silver lining, right.
Closed. There's not very many of them, but that could be a lot.
Especially during this time, hey. And to kind of go along with that, this is also a good opportunity, we've all been kind of out of like the regular movements that we've been doing, like squatting, deadlifting, pressing, movements like that. And so if prior to quarantine, if you had issues with maybe your squat, like reaching depth, or if you were pressing and you had, some shoulder issues or anything like that, now that you've taken time off, you can kind of look at this as a way of relearning movements or like kind of resetting how you perform certain things. So it can be a good way to essentially start over, so to speak.
Yeah.
So, you're going to have to not learn how to squat again, but it's going to feel weird for the first time. So why not take a good opportunity there to try and improve on your shortcomings before and, try and improve on that. So at the end of all this, you can look back and say, well, you know what? I got better at squatting because I was able to relearn the technique, or, there's definitely lots of positives that can go on here. It's not just, I didn't get to work out for 8 weeks and now I feel lazy and out of shape. That's not necessarily the case.
It gave people an opportunity to maybe reconsider what they're doing and look kind of more into their programming and take some more time and some different aspects that they might have not before because they're just cared about how much weight they're lifting or getting a pump versus really focusing on form, and that's a huge thing. So hopefully they're doing that in here. But like you said, added load versus body weight is going to be different. It's going to be different to the muscles and all those aspects. I mean, not everybody has a full gym at their house like some people I know.
Hey, even having your own gym at home, it still gets boring, and you still want to get out and do some other things,
Yeah.
So
yeah, of course.
Yeah. Well, one thing that I hope that does come out of this for everybody is that you can kind of take a step back and look at how your training has been over the past 8 weeks, if there has been any. And you can learn to appreciate the gym more now because it's one of those things like when you've got it, you don't really think about how fortunate or how lucky you are to be able to get out and move and do things that are going to improve your health, improve mental health, improve all these things. And then you take it away, and now that it's coming back, hopefully that will kind of set a light bulb off in some people's heads, and they'll be like, wow, I felt so much better before all this happened, and now that it's back, I'm going to take full advantage of it, and I'm going to hit it hard and do things the right way.
Yeah, I definitely prophesize that. I think like you hit the nail on the head that people are really going to appreciate the ability to use the gym, and even people that didn't use it that much. Once you have something that is so accessible to you, you completely take advantage of it. Realize how important it is. So I think there actually will be a surge once we get back and everybody is safe and we're able to start handle capacity in the future. That there'll be a surge and people will have a stronger thought process to health and fitness and what it means to them.
Exactly.
So I think it's been, obviously this has been devastating to people and especially the fitness community and gyms throughout the whole entire country. It's been a really big hit, but I think in the future, we're going to see a spike and people are going to be a lot more fitness and health minded.
Yeah.
And it'll be very beneficial. But other things, I think it's also made people more active. I haven't ever seen so many people outside riding bikes, taking their kids, and I hope that continues as long as it's not raining, which is a beautiful day today.
Yeah, it is.
But it's been horrible lately. So the sun decided to just shine on our podcast. I think the last one was even raining. So, all great stuff. You mentioned getting back into the gym. What are some things that they maybe should do? Should they set a schedule? Like, what are some planning? Because they're getting ready. I mean, Monday we're opening the doors here in beautiful Wichita, Kansas. What are some things that they should maybe like plan to get themselves back into?
Yeah, that's a good one because it's really easy to, if you've been out of routine for so long, it's really easy to just like kind of push it back another day or push it back another week. So really, if you sign up if you plan to go to the gym, have a plan before you even get to the gym. If you have a trainer or if you have a coach, that plan should already be set for you, and it should be spectacular.
Good idea to have.
Right. If you have questions about that, let us know. But have a plan and stick to it. The number one thing, a lot of times people, especially during this time, whenever you've been home, it's easy to skip on your workout. Mm-hmm. So if you have, if you've got gym time coming up and you're thinking, I'm just going to put it off, just get in your car and just start heading that way. It's going to pay off in the long run. So other than that, just trying to get back into, like you mentioned, a routine, whether it be like with work, school, gym, family, all that stuff. Try and ease your way back into how things were prior to being stuck in the house and do the best you can to stick to that schedule.
Sweet. Yeah, I think that's excellent. I see that there's going to be kind of a two mentality part to this. You're going to have the people that's been out of for 8 weeks. They became very comfortable. They got into a routine. They got back out of it. They probably kind of was a sedentary lifestyle before they got back into fitness, and they probably relapse kind of in those terms back into their old self, and it's going to be very difficult for them to get back in it. And then you're going to have, on the flip side of that, you're going to have people that are like screaming, eager, maybe didn't even like go to the gym that much, or us bros that love working out, that are just like waiting outside for the doors to open, or we don't want to go gun ho. So you're going to kind of have both those aspects. So for those guys, get back into the gym, throw your ego out the door, go. For the people that are sitting at home, from you, create a plan, create a schedule, sign up those classes, set up those appointments with your trainer, or just decide Monday at 6 a.m. I'm going to get in there, and even if you don't want to, jump in your car and drive that direction, and once you get there, everything will fall into place. Yeah, I mean, I think that's excellent, man. I appreciate all those things. I think those are really good tips. So, I mean, to kind of summarize, what I got from you is to basically start off slower. Don't go crazy. Things are going to feel a little differently. You may be sore, but that's okay. Keep your rep ranges the same, but maybe just pull back your weights.
Yes.
Plan and schedule your workouts to come in there. You may have lost a little bit of strength and size, but it's going to come back relatively quickly.
That's an expected thing to happen after taking time off.
Yeah, but that shouldn't be too much of a worry. Those are things that are going to come back as long as you're back into being active. Was there anything else that I missed?
No, I guess the last thing to kind of really hit on would be like, just realize that you specifically, everyone out there, you're not the only person that's been put in this situation, right? 100%. So everyone around you is going to be regressed. It doesn't necessarily, don't go into the gym and think, wow, I am horrible now, or I don't have the same strength, or I feel bad. Most people are going to feel that way. So you're not the only person in it. So there's no reason to feel ashamed of it, or there's no reason to feel like you did a bad job, because
the quarantine 15 might have came on.
Right. I mean, I'd be curious to know what the overall weight gain in the entire world would be right now. You know, because it's not like it's a singular person. It's not just you. It's not just me. It's not just Raymond. It's everybody's been in the same situation. And so
that's an excellent point.
Yeah, when you're in the gym, you can look at the person next to you and be like, they're in the same position as me. So
Yeah, we're all kind of restarting again. It's all a new world. I know that Nick is here for you guys if you need anything.
Yeah.
I'm here for you, and hopefully this has been very, very helpful. So I hope you guys all get back out there and actively understand if you need to take those times to get re-integrated back in the world. No judgment there. That's completely understandable. But when you can and feel ready, make those action steps. Continue to work out. Continue to be active. I think that's one thing that Nick said, that the difference between people being non-active and active, you're going to be at least a lot farther if you've been active through this whole thing. And there's tons of stuff you can still do, even though it might be a little bit different than actually doing those at the gym. And get back into it, and you're going to progress relatively quickly, and that's going to be exciting and feel good, and about to see those results and PRs and all that stuff start to move up. And there could be some benefits from this.
Yeah. Yeah,
So.
there's always, like you said, the silver lining.
Yes. Is there anything else you want to close with there, sir?
No, I think I'm good. I'm excited to get back in the gym. I'm excited to see all my clients. I'm excited to see the team. I'm ready to get back to normal life.
I'm with you, brother. I'm excited too. So thank you so much for being
Absolutely.
part
Thanks
of
for
our
having me.
podcast. I'm sure that we'll have you again. And that's it. So guys, have a wonderful, wonderful weekday. Listen to these things, share them, all that good jazz. Have a good one. Thank you for listening to the Healthy Living Wichita podcast with Go Time Training. If you enjoyed today's show and want to get started with your own fitness journey, I'd love to help kickstart your goals. How do 4 60-minute personal training sessions for $99 with me sound? Head over to www.gotimetraining.com/podcast to claim yours. I can't wait to meet you.